I am Ray, and don't worry, the money will come. But here's the rub. Now, here's the deal. We are entering into a new age of reality that is completely different than anything we've ever experienced before. So, there's a new meta on life. And meta is the most effective tactic available. So the old ways of doing things aren't as effective as the new ways of doing things. Make sense? So the old way of struggling and grinding your way to the top, it's just not that effective. You can do it still. It's always a backup if you need. But there are much easier ways to live your life nowadays. There's no excuses. And when it comes to money, it's not about what you do so much. That will come along naturally. It's all about your energy. Because until your energy gets on the good, right page, I don't think that's the exact right phrase I should have used. Look at it this way, right? If you struggled with money, with abundance, with survival, all of these negative thoughts and negative feelings and negative actions, they poison your energy. So for example, the regular way of doing things is, okay, I want something, so I'm going to do something to get that something. So you want money, you want abundance, so I'm going to work to get, right? And that's normal. That's how everyone does things. I need a job to get money because I want it or because I need it. And that's great and all, but the problem is this little side over here. Being. And it means two things. On one level, it means your state of being in the moment. So if you're feeling happy or you're feeling sad, or it also means your identity of who you are. This is the new meta. And that is why I call this the free side, and this is the slave side. If you want to be free, go over here. Because everyone's struggling over here. And you don't want that. Because not everybody actually succeeds. Some people succeed, most don't. Why is this? Well, first of all, anyone can succeed. Anyone could literally do anything they want in this life. But because we're so conditioned, we're so believing in our limitations that we castrate ourselves. We are told all kinds of things by the people around us, by the government, by school, by everyone, by society, by social media. We're constantly reminded how much we're struggling, how much we suck, how much we're not good enough. And that is what keeps us stuck. It is these beliefs in lack and scarcity, these beliefs in poverty. And you might say, well, I don't know, that doesn't really seem like a belief. It just seems like a fact to me, friend. So, you got too much dip on your chip. Slow your roll there, buddy. And this is why it's so difficult. Because if you look out at your life and you're struggling, and you're living in poverty, and even if you're making a lot of money but you're still struggling, it's always going to be for the same exact reason for everyone. Which is why this is so powerful. Because I could talk to you about the latest business models, but not everyone's going to like that. And not everyone's going to care, because everyone's got their own unique journey. But this applies to every single human being on the planet. Universally true. And you don't got to believe me, you just got to try it out for yourself. Now, what does this mean? It means that the moment you stop mucking about over here, trying to get things, trying to get your money, trying to get that bag, apparently. All you have to do is change your state of being, which over time changes who you are. Who you are is basically an accumulation of your states of being over time. Like if you're miserable all the time, you're just a miserable person. Sorry. No offense. Maybe you need an orb to ponder. Think about it. Ponder about it, actually. So just look at maybe your own life, or really anyone who is alive, and you will see how they all are on this side of the equation. All of them. I've never met anyone who knows this. In real life, at least. Online, there's plenty, but The fact is, this is the most normal way of living your life. That is, I want something, so I'm going to do to get that something. And was that necessary for the past hundreds of thousands of years? Of course it was. Because if we didn't do that, well, we'd probably die. But now, as a species, as a human species, we are awakening to a higher power within us that we didn't know we had. But it's there. And it's been there the whole time. And it's been running our life the whole time. We just weren't aware of it. And that is our energy. The moment you have abundant energy, abundance effortlessly flows, not throws. Who is being thrown here? Maybe me. I'm being thrown for a loop. Look, if your energy is in lack and scarcity, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You can get 5 jobs if you'd like. 5. And you're still going to be broke at the end of the day. Unless, in your attempts to grind, you change who you are. Because that's what happens. Like somebody struggles and struggles and struggles until they see evidence or fruits of their work, fruits of their labor. And then once they see those fruits, they're no longer so attached to lack and scarcity because their outer environment is showing, hey, look, you're starting to live in abundance. So now I feel more rich and abundant. And eventually that becomes just naturally who I are. That's what I was going to say. And you'll see once that happens, abundance is effortless for that person. It's like the moment you start a business and it's successful, even if that business fails, you know how to do it again and again and again because you've become that person. But if you've always been living in lack and scarcity, well, what else is there to change you? There's no reason for you not to be in lack and scarcity. Let's look at it this way, shall we? In and out. If you know, in and out are both mathematical opposites. You cannot separate them ever. They cannot be separated. If you have in, it implies out. If you have out, it implies in. Which means that because they're inextricably linked, they are mirror reflections of each other. Now, I don't know how exactly they are mirror reflections, but they are. But because we believe there is a difference between the outer world that we're experiencing and the inner world within us, we don't ever even think about the fact or the idea that they're the same, that there is truly only one reality. And that's the key. There is only one reality, which means that life is a reflection of you, nothing else. And you will see so many people at the bottom, all of these negative mindsets, all of these negative attitudes toward life. Now, if you want to stay stuck there, by all means. But you're going to have to kind of, push that away a little bit. There's got to be this kind of desire to say, well, I deserve more. I am worthy of more than what I have. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to want more. It's in fact the human condition. Because the problem is, a lot of people at the bottom of society, one of the only reasons that they are there is because they feel unworthy. They feel unworthy of having anything, so that is what they experience. They have nothing. A lot of this is just a self-esteem issue. Like if I felt good about myself all the time, I would not tolerate less, correct? But if I didn't feel good about myself at all, then I'm going to tolerate all kinds of nonsense by everyone and myself. Mostly myself. My own negative thoughts beating me up all the time. And a lot of people give up because they look at their outer life and say, well, this is quite the problem. How am I ever going to deal with this? Well, that's the great thing. You don't necessarily have to. The point of the experience of poverty or struggle or whatever it is, it's not just to beat you up. Like life is just this random thing that you're thrown into and you're experiencing it for a little while and then you die. We have to understand there's an order to our ways. There's an order to life. There's a reason why you're here. There are very specific things, rules, laws, ways of being that the universe is The point is, once you kind of understand what is going on, it makes it a lot easier to go through these difficult times in life. And what I mean is that the experiences that you go through are designed to shape you. They're not designed to burden you or beat you up or life is against you. It's all designed for your highest spiritual growth. But because our little monkey bodies, they don't like it, that is why we struggle. We have to realize that there's nothing wrong with the struggles, that there's nothing wrong necessarily in poverty. Because what this allows you to do, it allows you to look at your life and the things that you're going through, and you see it through a different lens. Like, this current experience I'm going through right now is designed for my spiritual growth. Now, the moment you start entertaining an idea like that, you're going to start focusing on all the evidence that that is true. Or you're going to at least be looking for it, instead of just wallowing in your suffering, struggling miserably. So there's right attitudes in life, and there's wrong attitudes in life. Now, this is all paradoxical stuff. Like, for example, at one level, you have to have the desire for change. And at another level, you have to accept the present moment as it is. At one level, you have to realize that nothing is wrong and everything is perfect. And at another level, you have to realize that, oh, well, I'm in a pretty bad spot. I got to change. I got to do something. It's just organizing the way we do things and the way we think in a way that's most productive. Which is why I said the new meta. Because what will happen is, if you can reframe your mind to focus on yourself and stop focusing so much on the world, you will change very quickly. I mean, this is the one thing that I feel has separated me from everyone else. Everything I look at, or everything I experience, comes back to myself. I'm always in a state of reflection, and not in a negative way where I'm really anxious about it, but I'm always hyper aware and learning and growing and adapting. When you focus on changing yourself, your outer reality changes. But you can struggle forever out here, and it doesn't guarantee that you change. That's the difference. Some people grind and they change, and they find success. Congratulations. A lot of people grind their whole life, never find success. Because you could be a humble worker on a farm. If you're going to be a humble worker on a farm your whole life, you're going to live that your whole life. Now, it's not a bad life necessarily. It's just, you got to ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to struggle? Or do you want the freedom to live your purpose, to live your dreams? Because a lot of people don't live their dreams because they sacrifice their dreams on the altar of practicality. I need money. I'm going to get a relationship because I'm lonely. I'm going to do this. And their dreams eventually just fade away and die. Because if you don't focus on your dreams, they die. A lot of people suffer because they live too fast in the outer world. But if you slow down and reflect upon yourself, you will begin seeing all the ways that life is trying to guide you, that life is trying to teach you. Because when I was struggling in poverty, every time I looked out in the world, I was really annoyed and frustrated. Am I going to eat green beans tonight or peas? Green peas. Is it frustrating? Of course it is. But the fact remains, if you don't change your energy, nothing changes. So what I was able to do was, stop looking at the world, stop focusing on all the evidence before me that's telling me, oh, you're in lack and scarcity, you're in lack and scarcity. And I started just feeling abundant now. Because the fact is, if you're living in any modern country, there is abundance everywhere. And we just become spoiled and entitled and focus on all the things we don't have. And that is why we're miserable. If you just started to focus on all the good things that are already present in your life, you would start living in abundance now. Now there's more to it. Not the end of the journey, but you'll start feeling relief. Because the fact is, if you're living in survival mode, your nervous system is freaking out all the time. It's in fight or flight. Because how could it not be? Your survival is at risk. So you're always going to be stressed out. You're always going to be worrying. You're always going to be living in fear. Probably going to get sick. And then you're really going to be broke and lack and scarcity. You have to train your nervous system to feel safe around money, or else you're going to throw it away. Remember the be, behave, have. If you've ever found yourself working all the time, but you never have any money, this is why. It's because your nervous system doesn't feel safe holding that money, so it gets rid of it. Because in the caveman days, if you had resources, it wasn't the best move. Unless you were some kind of great warrior who could defend those resources, it's very stupid to have a lot of stuff. Even though we think, oh, well, yeah, more abundance is good, more money is good, right? Wrong. More money makes you a target. More abundance means, well, some other monkeys are just going to come along, take your stuff. So your nervous system is very intelligent. It knows, hey, well, we're going to be careful. There's monkeys. Let's get rid of this money. Let's get rid of it. Let's keep us stuck in struggle forever. Because at least we're alive. Your body, your nervous system, your unconscious will keep you in hell if it means you get to survive. You're fighting against hundreds of millions of years of evolutionary instincts, and you're not going to win. It's not possible. You have to learn how to deal with it. You can't fight it. Because it is in the fighting that creates the struggle. So you, as the conscious mind, want abundance or want freedom. But your body doesn't feel safe. So you're fighting against your body. That's saying, no, we can't be doing this because we might die. It doesn't know that it's not accurate, but the body, the unconscious, only knows what you, as the conscious mind, tells it. And that is the secret to everything. So the conscious mind speaks the language of patterns and symbols. The unconscious speaks the language of feelings. And we have these two systems working all the time. Now the conscious is like a person riding a horse. The unconscious is the horse. If the horse and the person riding the horse are going in the same way, there is no struggle. But if they're trying to go in opposite directions, there's a lot of struggle. And this is everything. You, as the conscious mind, want something. But you, as the unconscious mind, aren't ready to receive it. And even if you did receive it, you wouldn't be able to hold it. You wouldn't be able to sustain it. That is why lottery winners lose all their money. Because it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter if somebody came along and gave you $1 billion. You would lose it all. And that's also why giving money to people doesn't work. Because if we leveled the playing field on this earth and everyone was given $1 million, all the people who are poor will return to being poor, and all the people who are rich will return to being rich. That's just the way it is. Because of ignorance. Because if you don't realize that your energy is creating your reality, you're going to create it unconsciously, like Carl Jung said, and you're going to call it fate. You're going to be like, well, I'm just thrown into this life and things are happening. What is going on here? It's like I have no control over my life at all. And I'm just trying to stay afloat. Do you want to know why that is? It's because you're living in survival mode. And we are in co-creation with reality. So the environment pings and says, hey, you're poor, and then you feel poor, and now you're living in survival mode, which creates more survival circumstances like lack and scarcity. So it's just this feedback loop in which you continuously get stuck. And that is why the Bible said, for those who have, more will be given, and those who have not, even what they have will be taken from them. It's exactly why they said that. Because if you're born in poverty, all you see is poverty, you create more of it. And if you live in abundance, all you see is abundance, you create more of it. Because you, as the conscious mind, react to your experiences, which create feeling states. And those feeling states program your unconscious. So the more you feel abundant, the more your nervous system feels safe around it. Because it's normal, it's comfortable. The unconscious, if you remember this will help. It's always looking for stability. Or equilibrium, balance, safety, security, the known. So you have to make whatever it is that you want in this life familiar. You as the conscious mind have to embody this identity of, well, I deserve abundance. I deserve it all. I'm worthy. Because the more you feel worthy, the more that just becomes who you are. So it's normal, it's familiar. Now you receive more opportunities to feel worthy. Not because it's just magically appearing out of the ether, but because now, for the first time, you're actually focused on it. If you feel lack and scarcity, that is all you're going to be able to focus on. So it requires for you to create a new known, a new familiar. So step by step, day by day, you just start feeling a little bit more abundant. The pattern might be money, it might be survival, but you want to start feeling good around it. You want to make it familiar and comfortable. And yes, this is my new reality now. Because think about it, if your life is 90% lack and scarcity, that's all you know. So your unconscious is going to feel safe. Your nervous system is going to feel safe in this arena. Like, okay, everything's normal. It's all good. No problems, no crazy things going on. But the moment you start trying to feel rich and abundant, your nervous system is going to go, how dare you? How dare you? And it's going to pull you back to lack and scarcity. Because your nervous system does not like the unknown. It does not like chaos because chaos is death. Now you know the secret to self-sabotage. It's a survival response, which is why we have to get out of survival mode. Because it is exactly that survival mode that is poisoning our energy. You see, the unconscious only knows the word yes. Which means that you can program the unconscious anything that you want. You can become anyone. And we have to realize that this is a very biological thing. Like, for example, think about the jock in high school versus the nerd. Good example. The nervous system of the jock is familiar with being the center of attention, so he's comfortable in that state. The nerd is not comfortable. The nerd is being comfortable being, nerdy, hanging out with the nerds. Nothing wrong with that. It's just you see how the different nervous systems of different people influences their life. So when the nerd tries to become the center of attention, naturally the nervous system says, no, who do you think you are? And it shuts you down. But the nervous system of the jock says, oh, you're living, this is all good. Have more abundance, have more attention, have more love. You little nerdy, you get nothing. You get no love, you get no goodies. Because if the nerd started acting like he was the best in the world, the jock, who's actually more powerful, is just going to come over and kill him. The nerd wants to go talk to that pretty girl. Hey, who do you think you are? Smack. The nerd wants to go make more money. Who do you think you are? Smack. Back into your place, nerd. This is happening to us all the time. If your nervous system believes you to be at the bottom of the social hierarchy, it will keep you there, I promise. Until you do something about it. But you can trick your unconscious to feeling like you're at the top of the social hierarchy. By feeling differently. Your nervous system is like a security system. Like if you've ever watched Resident Evil, the first one. You ain't getting out of here, everyone's dying. Except for the nervous system, its whole job is to literally keep you from dying. The secret is, you want to make the unfamiliar familiar. You want to make the unknown known. So, for example, if you struggle with money, that's the known. And so abundance is the unknown. So you train your nervous system day by day just to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more safe. You don't want to grow too fast. Because if you grow too fast, your nervous system is going to say, oh, nope, back to default. Nice, slow, gradual process. Just day by day, feeling a little bit more abundant. And every time you feel abundant, you're telling your unconscious, this is the new reality. So think about it this way. There's a ratio in your life and in everyone's life. So for a homeless person, the ratio is 100-0. This is just an overgeneralization. The specific numbers aren't that important. 100% lack and scarcity, 0% abundance. I mean, if you're almost homeless, 90% lack and scarcity, 10% abundance. Then, well, what do you get to? The poor, I guess? Maybe 70 to 80%? Then what do you got? The lower middle class? 70 to 30%? Who knows? Doesn't matter. You get the idea? What is the middle class? Maybe it's 50-50. But the richest people on earth, they might only be 20% lack and scarcity, 80% abundance. Me, I'm like 5% lack and scarcity, 95% abundance. And what this looks like, I can show you my story. Because I was living in lack and scarcity for years and years and years and years. And I never could understand why I couldn't catch a break, why I couldn't get ahead. Because I would get a little money, spend it all. And I realized that I had trauma, money trauma. So my nervous system didn't feel safe holding the money. And it's called feast or famine. Which is why I created the program, From Famine to Feast, to help you start living in abundance now. Once I realized that I was traumatized, I knew, okay, well, I got to heal the trauma if I want to live in abundance. And the moment I started implementing the practices, every single month, more and more and more abundance. Until now, it's been like 6 months, 7 months at most. I don't allow any lack and scarcity because I'm so aware of when those negative thoughts arise. And all you got to do is not feed them and not entertain these stories. So we'll see what happens the next 6 to 7 months. But every single month, more and more and more and more. But it's not because I worked harder. In fact, I do less now than I have ever done and make more than I ever have. It's not about struggle. It's not about grinding. It's about energy and alignment. And what does that actually mean? Because spiritual people talk about it all the time. What does this mean? All it means is that you align your feelings with abundance. Meaning you feel more abundant day by day by day until that just becomes who you are. Your natural state of being, your new normal. And what that looks like is like every day you just shift the ratio. 1 point or 2 points or 5 or 10. Probably unlikely. But I think it's an exponential process. I think it becomes easier and easier as this becomes your new normal. So it's like a rocket taking off from the earth. It's really hard at first. It feels like it's impossible. But then you start getting lighter and lighter and lighter until it's effortless. It's an exponential journey, which is why most people fail because they give up before they see any progress. Until your nervous system feels safe holding larger and larger amounts of money, you will let go all that you feel unworthy of. You will unconsciously get rid of it. Spend it on stupid things, waste it, lose your wallet. That's the kind of things that happen. Like you would think that losing your wallet is just some kind of random accident. It's not. It's not. Your outer reality is a reflection of you. Now, you may have just been in a bad mood that day, but it doesn't matter. You see, some examples of what will happen. Because you might ask, well, okay, this is all fine and dandy, but how do I actually get money? Again, well, I want money, so I got to do something to get it. Money is 100% beside the point. It doesn't matter. Money is worthless anyway. It's just made up. So don't value money. It's because it's not valuable, it has no value. But your belief in it. What is valuable is your own self. Because you become the money printing machine rather than just getting a few bucks. So it doesn't matter how much money you receive. You want to be the money printing machine. That is why getting things is irrelevant. Getting money is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Because, again, you can get $1 billion right now. You'll lose it all. And people who think that, oh, well, I'm going to win the lottery, they're going to lose it all and their life is going to suck really bad. Because anything that you don't earn is not worth it. And you don't deserve it, so you're going to lose it all. So you have to become the one who feels comfortable holding all that cash. And so what will happen every single day as you start feeling more abundant, as you start focusing on the abundance already present, it's not necessarily that money is just going to randomly fall into your life, although it can. Like, you can find money on the street. Somebody can be like, hey, have some money. And that's all good and dandy. But the point is, you will begin thinking differently. Ideas and opportunities will arise in your awareness, and you will be able to take action on those things. So you might have $1 million business idea that you would not have ever been able to have before while you're living in lack and scarcity. Because if you're living in lack and scarcity, all you can focus on is how everything is a struggle, how everything is going wrong, how everything is difficult. But the moment you start living in abundance, you free up your resources, and life begins to provide you more opportunities for abundance. So if you have a job, and you got into that job because you needed the money and you don't like the job sucks, well, as you start living in abundance, you're probably going to get fired. The old life is going to fall apart. Because everything that you created from lack and scarcity has to die in order for the new life to be born. So you might say, well, what is going on? Why is everything falling apart? It has to fall apart. Because you're no longer in alignment with that old life. So realize that something new is being born in that moment. There is no separation between death and life. Anytime there's a death, there's a life. And anytime there's a life, there's a death. Like when someone has a baby. When the baby is born, the woman dies and becomes a mother. The baby is born, new life. But there must be a cost. Something has to die. And oftentimes that's the mother's individuality as a separate woman. No more separation. You see, it wasn't until I started living in abundance that the business ideas were made manifest in my life. Even if I knew at the time, I knew what I needed to do. I knew the right business model. I was fortunate. But even though I knew intellectually what to do, my body wouldn't allow me to do it. There was always self-sabotage. It's like you start to go to work and okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do some work. It's going to be good. And then the moment you sit down, you start getting tired or something. Or you start getting distracted or you get a phone call and I'm getting distracted, going to go on social media, swipe. You'll see it happen. Because your nervous system is like, I don't like this. Let's distract them. Let's make sure that they don't keep doing what they're doing. Because if they keep doing what they're doing, they might die. So let me protect them. That's the way our unconscious sabotages our life all the time. Same thing with relationships, for example. If you're not comfortable being with high-value partners, well, guess what? Even if Mr. or Mrs. Right comes along, you're going to sabotage it. Because you can't hold that experience. Your nervous system won't allow it. So you'll be afraid and you'll be nervous and you'll be anxious and your attitude and your energy is going to push them away. Same thing with money. It's all the same exact thing. Now you might ask, how do we do this without grinding? Because you might see how grinding actually works. Like you do. And as you do and as you start seeing results, you start to feel differently. And that starts to change who you are. But if you realize that the whole point from the very beginning was to change your energy and to change who you are, you can target that directly instead of targeting the result or targeting the action. So instead of being a realist and looking at your life and this is all the evidence that is before me, so this is what is real. Instead, as you go about your life, because you're going to live, you're going to work, you're going to do things, you're going to take action. But instead of doing things to get results or to get things, when you engage in those actions, your mind is focused on changing your energy, changing your state of being. So when you're struggling in your business, Instead of entertaining that struggle and allowing the story to frustrate you, you learn how to relax, calm down, and feel like everything is already taken care of. Like there's nothing to worry about. It is literally only the worry that we allow in that keeps the struggle alive. And that if you just stopped worrying about it, things would be a lot more simple. And because our survival mode will not let us stop worrying about it, there is a struggle. But that's only because we don't realize how our nervous system works. So we have to calm it down and relax it perpetually, all the time. It's got two modes. It's got fight or flight and rest and digest. All you gotta do is continuously be more and more relaxed, more and more comfortable around money, more and more familiar. Feel more abundant every single day by focusing on all the things you already have. Because if you are not grateful for what you already have, when you get more, you will just have more things to be ungrateful for. So it doesn't make any sense. That is why people who want so badly what they want, they're in for a bad day. Because even when you get what you want, it will not be enough. There is not enough earth for you to fill the black hole within you. I promise. So you can get $1 billion, you can get $1 trillion if you'd like. It's not going to change anything. In fact, more often than not, it's just going to ruin your life. Because until you're ready to handle it, why would you want it? You think you want all this money. But it would be a curse for most people. But the good news is that once you start feeling more comfortable around money, it's not that you suddenly get millions, it's you get what is perfect for you. You get the right amount. So you have enough freedom to do as you please, but you're not going to ruin your life with it. Because if you have a certain amount of money, you might ruin your life with it. Like if you have all these addictions and self-destructive behavior, for God's sake, the last thing you want is money. Because the more money you have, the more money you have to fuel your addictions. And you'll just kill yourself quicker. So not good. So we have to get out of this mindset of just wanting what we want and wanting it now. The slow way is the shortcut. And the fast way is the long way. And the slow process is, day by day, you just start focusing on what you do have and you stop focusing on what you don't have. Because when you focus on what you don't have, you're going to feel bad. And when you focus on what you do have, you're going to feel good. That's all it is. You get more and more comfortable feeling good about life. Life in general. And you stop focusing on all the things going wrong all the time. And day by day, you shift this ratio until you're always in abundance. Your nervous system isn't, pushing you into anxiety and fear and worry all the time. Remember, we always create more of what we focus on. So start to be very careful of what you allow yourself to entertain. The stories in your mind, the advice from the people around you, the advice from the world. You have to take a step back, reflect, and ask yourself, is this serving me? Or is this serving to destroy me? Like, well, life is hard, life is a struggle, you have to work hard to get ahead. Well, that's great, maybe it's true, but do I really want to live my life from that mentality? New meta, that's the old way of doing things. Just because it is true relatively does not mean there isn't a better truth out there. So you have to be very careful of the people you listen to, because they will program you. Their survival instincts will program you, especially your parents, especially the people around you. Because their nervous system isn't just worried about their own selves, it's also worried about the offspring, their survival. So our parents will easily, if they struggled, give us the same trauma that they have, so that we don't risk sticking our head up too high and getting it chopped off by some kind of monkey. Better to just dim your light, constrict yourself. Oh, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. No, don't gotta look at me. Don't look at me. And if you don't realize that our unconscious can and will do that, well, then you'll think that you're the one doing everything and not know why this is happening. It's not you at all. It's your unconscious squeezing your butt, pulling you down. That is why Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate, because your unconscious trauma around money is manifesting as poverty in your life. That is all. I am Ray. Stop struggling, living in beggar consciousness, and enter into your royal nature, where abundance is natural. Oh no, it appears I have lost the bead. Oh no, here it is. I am Ray. I think I said that twice. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be